Today in History, a journey through the past. On April 3, 1948, President Harry S. Truman signed the Economic Assistance Act, the Marshall Plan. In that plan, the United States contributed $13.3 billion in various forms of aid to Europe, 90% in grants and 10% in low-interest loans, equivalent to about 4% of the total GDP at the time. Why do Americans give so much money to Europe? When World War II ended in 1945, Europe lay in ruins, its cities were shattered, its economies were devastated, its people faced famine. By 1947, the European economy was still hovering below pre-war levels and showed little sign of growth. Agricultural production was 83% of the 1938 level, industrial production was 88%, and total exports were only 59%. This was particularly serious in Germany, where per capita caloric intake in 1946 to 1947 was only 1,800 kilocalories per day, which was not enough to support long-term human health. By the end of the war, Britain's economy was in a state of severe collapse. More than a quarter of its national wealth has been consumed. Meanwhile, the United States feared that poverty would reinforce the appeal of communism and fascism. American businesses had ramped up production for the war effort and held a surplus of goods. Without a European market for U.S. goods, America's economy would suffer. So the United States launched the Marshall Plan and contributed $13.3 billion to 16 European nations between 1948 and 1951. Rather than a free handout, this aid served as a strategic investment to help the countries become strong and stable partners to the United States while expanding markets for American goods. By mid-1951, out of a total of $13 billion in aid, $3.4 billion was spent on imports of raw materials and semi-manufactured goods, $3.2 billion on purchases of food, feed and fertilizers, $1.9 billion on imports of heavy industrial goods such as machinery, vehicles and heavy equipment, and $1.6 billion on imports of fuel. The Marshall Plan aided both agricultural and industrial productivity in Europe, and helped rejuvenate ailing industries like chemicals, engineering and steel. Participating countries saw their gross national products go up by 15 to 25%. It was also a stimulant to the U.S. economy by establishing markets for American goods. But the implementation of the Marshall Plan has been cited as the beginning of the Cold War between the United States, its European allies and the Soviet Union.